Brain box.
People of Reddit, what has been the creepiest moment of your life so far? My dad took me, my little brother, and my little sister camping by a lake once when I was maybe 12. At one point we went to the lake to go fishing, and my dad just sat there in the car for a long time not letting us out. He was just quiet the whole time and it just freaked me out. My parents had broken up recently, and my mom told me later in life my dad confessed to having almost driven us into the lake on a visit weekend. I'd known something was wrong, but I get chills thinking about that. In high school, my friend and I got out of school early one day and went to her house. Both her parents were still at work. We walked in and heard a loud bang in one of the back bedrooms. Thinking more along the lines of scary ghost than robber, we ran out of the house freaked out and then laughing hysterically. When we finally went back in to investigate, we found her brother's room in shambles. Her house had been robbed and we walked in during the middle of it. They took a gaming system, a ton of video games, CDs and some jewelry from her parents' bedroom. Although I didn't realize it then, we were lucky, especially with how naive we were in the moment. Someone late at night trying to open my window and enter my house. This was pretty recent. I've noticed my screen window has been popped out twice, and the second time it was bent and broken. I had to buy a new one, and I set up a camera to see what was going on. About 2 weeks ago, I couldn't sleep. It was like 11:30, so I was working on Photoshop, listening to Spotify, when I heard this loud pop. I was home alone, and I thought my cat dropped something. I get up and look around. Nothing. I shrug it off and go back to what I was working on. A few minutes pass. I hear my window starting to slowly open. It makes this horrible screeching sound, like two rocks scraping against each other, so I immediately turned around and saw an arm creeping in. I just sat there, staring at it for a good minute, because I thought I was going batshit crazy. I just grabbed something sharp, I think it was a metal ruler, and put as much force I could into my stab. The hand quickly went out, and I heard some dude who looked like he was in his late 20s, early 30s, curse out at me. Me, what the fuck? Perf, what the fuck was that for you bitch? I ended up penetrating his skin and made him bleed. Last year I was awakened by my closet door slowly creaking open, followed by the disembodied voice of a young child singing inside in the dark. Turns out my cat had somehow clawed the door open, out of sight from my bed, strolled in and walked in top of the kid's Doc McStuffins toy that they'd left on my closet floor, so Doc was talking. It was hilarious once I pieced it all together, but in those first terrifying moments I was actually prepared to battle evil. I don't know where this could lie on the creepiness scale, but it's still a moment that has stuck with me for years. When I was 11, my mom had died under unknown circumstances. That's what I was told by my aunt, and I was always too scared to push the subject, so I just accepted that truth. It was in 7th or 8th grade, where I was home alone, as my dad had taken the dogs to go hunting that weekend, and I was at the family computer watching funny videos and laughing, when suddenly, all I could smell was my mother's perfume. I froze, and I asked if she was there, kind of hoping for a response. Then the smell was gone, after about 10 seconds. My dad and I keep my mom's old belongings, including her perfume, in the bottom drawer of my dad's dresser. I ran to check to see if it was still there, and sure enough it was. It's not exactly a horror story, but it never fails to freak me out when I think about it. 2011. On my way from Pensacola to San Diego. Stopped in a very small town in New Mexico to fill up and get something to eat. Walked up to the door of a fast food joint where an old man was getting ready to enter, so I opened the door for him. He was genuinely surprised, saying that never happens around there, but he said thanks. I go up to order, and the cashier is just staring at me, so I look around. I notice that the other workers have stopped working and were staring at me and smiling. Then I looked around and every single person in that restaurant was just staring at me. I got my food and wanted to eat there to take a break from driving. I got halfway through my burger, looked up, and everyone is still staring at me. Couldn't finish the burger, trashed it, and left. I just chalk it up to them probably thinking I was someone else. But it was still creepy as hell. This only happened this Christmas. Went downstairs in the middle of the night for a drink. Completely normal behavior. Then as I put the tap on, 2 table mats fell from the kitchen table. Okay, no biggie, creeped me out a bit, but must be some explanation. Then as I walked out the kitchen, a singing Santa toy we had set up turned on and started singing Merry Christmas before my dog got up and started growling. I shat my pants and just noped the fuck out of there. In middle school our leader was this creepy priest. Luckily my family wasn't religious, so I never interacted with the dude, but he was our substitute teacher one day and was an epic douche. The creepy part was he gave us a quiz on himself and would get irate if we didn't know every minuscule fact about his life. I still remember he asked about his favorite sport. Exited since he would run through town in pink spandex. I blurted out running. No, I was wrong, because my classmate interrupted and said basketball. The priest told him he was always a good boy and gave him a ton of compliments. Yay, he was later fired and charged with molesting that kid. I received a voicemail in which a heavily accented caller said, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to slash your throat. I will kill you. I'm coming for you, and I will kill you. I'm going to kill you." This went on for about 3 minutes. Not screaming, just slow, deliberate, methodical, determined. So I called him back. After a few rings, that same voice answered, "Who is this? I'm the guy you just called, saying you wanted to kill me. Wondering if I could get some more details." There was a very long pause. It was the wrong number. Sorry. Click. Never heard from him again, and still alive.